Hello and welcome to Women in Retail Talks. I'm Christina Stidham, Digital Content Manager at Women in Retail Leadership Circle. Today I'm joined by Diana Caulfield-Bisa, founder of MyShield Masks, an Indiana-based face mask company with a fundraising program helping other small businesses. In this episode, we're discussing her previous business and apparel production experience, how she quickly scaled her new company, how she formed partnerships with larger companies like Purell, and much more. So Diana, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Christina. It's great to be here.
So MyShield Masks is your most recent company, started earlier in 2020. Can you tell us about your career experience prior to that? I understand you ran another retail business that served a pretty unique sector.
Yes, it started back when I was a child. I had big dreams of being a Vegas show designer. And being from a small town, I had to find a way to fill that desire, that inner dream. And I eventually moved from South Bend, Indiana to Indianapolis, Indiana. And I thought, well, how am I going to take my dream of being a big time Vegas show designer and turn that into something that can craft my talent and my desire into a business model. And I went through the yellow pages back in the old days and thought, small towns, what's the closest thing to Vegas in small towns? Those were dance companies. So I had to do a lot of cold calling and get my people to know who I was and what I could do, being that I was an up and coming, blooming fashion designer and a very skilled craftsperson in the seamstress field. So I focused on discovered performing arts in high schools. And the performing arts in high schools has something special called show choirs. It's a division of the choral program, and not all schools have those. And they're very niche. They have specific needs with choreography and music, themes, stories, lighting. And I filled a niche where it was not something that people had available to them before.
That's an awesome start and a way to find, a part of the retail market that sorely needed a designer, and you could fill that. So, you started out being an entrepreneur. You're continuing to do that with MyShield Masks, but like so many others, you had to pivot when COVID hit. So can you tell us about MyShield Masks, starting that company and what makes it unique?
What makes it unique is that we were able to use materials we already have from show choir, believe it or not. I have always been known for creating and innovating new ideas, out of the box thinking. And what's especially unique about MyShield mask, the product, is that it's made with a spongy type material that we were using to create garments with. And we already had access to our spectrum of materials readily usable, like nylon spandex swimwear as our binding agents. And I already had machines such as special machines that could be modified to do the stitching and the edging and putting all of those things together with all the experience of being creative and a problem-solving, solution-oriented type designer. We were able to come up with a comfortable, breathable, stretchy mask that you could wear all day long and never know that you actually even have it on. Plus, in addition to that, something that could be a one-time purchase that you can use over and over and over and without end. So quality was built into everything. And then, which is one of my mantras, by the way, quality matters, but style also matters. Nobody wants something pleated that looks all dumpy on your face. You want to look clean and sharp and have the best you for your confidence. And that's where MyShield Masks comes in.
Yeah, I love that. It's definitely true. I don't think anybody a year ago thought, oh, I might need to wear a mask for 9 hours at my job. Yeah. And now you're getting to the point where it's not just let me go grab any mask that I can find at the store, those little blue disposable ones. It's I have to wear this every day. I want something that's nice, that looks nice, and that's not going to give me all of this all these issues for underneath, like getting all sweaty and stuff. So that's great for the fabric. So you launched the company and you're suddenly making 8,000 face masks a day, which is incredible production. I want to know how you managed to grow the company so quickly after launch. And you mentioned it a little bit that you could bring some aspects of your previous business in to help kickstart this one. But I'm wondering if you can talk any more about that. Maybe you could, keep the same team from your show choir company to help work on MyShield masks. Maybe you had marketing already in place that you could pull. And can you talk a little bit more about what resources you could share to help grow this company?
So I'm going to try to keep this short. There were so many factors involved in making MyShield masks such an enormous blockbuster success from the get-go. So back in 2008, 2009, my former business that was focused on the same exact customer base that I have today, which is the Showcore businesses I mentioned earlier. I had all of my customer base and all of my work was focused on that very seasonal business. I couldn't seem to get out of that vicious circle of the 6 months on, 6 months off. And when 2008, 2009 came, my customer base was shattered. They had no money, no funding, and everything that I had 21 employees, and my overhead didn't stop, and I had no work for them. We had no work. So I had to close that business and start all over. I slashed everything, started under a new name, Phoenix Design Concepts, and I kept that same customer base, but I started more highly customized, and I slashed it by 1/8. What I mean is I slashed it down to 1/8 of what it was before, my customer base, and I tripled my prices. So I went from taking care of everyone across the United States to taking care of one of the 8 that I had of each. I chose and was able to select the best clients that I had and served them. And that kept me from spreading myself too thin, which is where I was in 2008, 2009. And it also helped me to free me up to be more creative in other avenues so that I could have new products and make myself available for new opportunities, which is exactly what happened. Sometimes you have to close something so that you can be available. You have to say no so that yeses can happen. I just was in this 24-year conundrum that just wouldn't end, and I couldn't get myself out of it. So actually, the disaster turned into an opportunity. I had to start all over from scratch. I lost everything and started from zero again and built it up with no debt. And I still currently have zero debt. And we were able to add new product and variety of clientele. Because I was so creative and I was able to open my doors for new opportunities, I started other companies. I'm a problem solver, right? So when the pandemic hit and we discovered that products weren't available, masks weren't readily available, we were able to transition, and we already had a huge customer base. And the marketing team that I work with and all of the other clients that I have had their clients and had their people. And so as soon as we hit the ground with the product that we make, the MyShield mask, we were off to the races instantly.
So that kind of goes right into my next question of, you have all of these people who want to purchase from MyShield masks. And I know that you actually were able to partner with a couple large companies, one of them being Purell. So you now provide masks to all of Purell's employees.
Correct.
I want to know how that partnership came to be and what you think helped MyShield masks be the partner for Purell and not another face mask company.
That was actually very early on. I have a client of mine who's become very close friends, and his husband works with Purell. And I said, let me send you some of these masks. They're really great. And we made a mock-up of a Purell decal off to the side of the cheek on there. And I said, it'd be so great for them to at least try it on and see what would happen. And they had been in the marketplace for a month or two, evaluating and discriminating over 5 other masks that were available on the marketplace. Mostly, actually, none of them were from the United States. They were all manufactured overseas. It's a big deal. I'm going to set this to the side. It's a big deal that we were local, that we were in the United States. We were able to turn around masks in a high production very quickly, where the timeline back then, and it seems so far away now, it wasn't that long ago, but I remember now people were saying it's going to take 12 weeks just to get 100 masks. And they were going to be disposable. None of them were going to be something that you could use and wash and use and wash for infinity. They tested my product, they analyzed it, and they had told me that they had 5 other qualifying candidates that were far less expensive, but they chose mine instead. It said because of the look, the feel, the practicality, the function, and the quality. All of those mattered. And the fact that they could have conversations, talking. It's a no-touch mask. You put it on, you can talk and breathe and wear it all day and never have to take it off, and have phone conversations. If I was wearing my mask right now, you wouldn't even know that. My voice would not be muffled in any way.
Not to mention that being USA produced, they don't have to wait for those super long supply chain to ship all the way from another country. We've heard that a lot, that people.
Not only that, we pay living wages. I pay living wage here. You're not promoting other things that are sad. It's sad to hear how other people live and how we're focused on everything being cheap. What's my best price? Well, let's think about putting quality first in our lives and enjoying things a little bit longer, and focus on people having quality of life. And that comes down to the dollar. How are you spending your money? And, you can spend less money in the long run and be so much more beneficial to everything and everyone around you. Your whole world benefits. When we buy a lot of things like disposable things, or even things that are less expensive, you're not really enriching your life or enriching the life of anyone else. And I think that maybe that's what really sets MyShield mask apart, is that it's a quality item that you're wearing, and it not only makes you feel great wearing it, you look in the mirror and you're having conversations with people, you're putting on your best self whenever you go out. And MyShield mask really helps you do that. And that was my goal from the very beginning. It wasn't just to provide a mask for a problem. It was to do it the best possible. I always have to incorporate fashion and function in everything that I make.
Those are excellent points. And that's why I like to use the washable ones too, because then it's also like more environmentally friendly.
Yes.
And when you're buying local like this, you also know, like you said, you're support your community, other Americans and your community to have a living wage during a time when a lot of people lost their jobs. So those are all great points. Congratulations that Purell recognized that and worked with you.
Oh, not just Purell. I can put a few names on there. Let's see. We can talk about Geek Squad, Best Buy, Republic Airways, US Veterans. The list goes on.
That's amazing.
I'm so proud that I've been able to serve and help people too, because we've been able to help groups with disabled children as well. We've got people that say that they work with children and young adults that have learning abilities, that where they can't keep the mask on their faces. They're constantly wanting to take it off. And I've been told from my fan base, they say, we love MyShield masks because these kids keep their masks on for hours at a time. And they're able to function. They don't feel like there's something obstructing them. It feels more natural and part of their actual face. And I've got elementary and kindergarten and preschool children as well that have to wear them in school, and they wear them all day long.
Yeah, that
It's not even
definitely is a
something that
struggle.
they don't even take it off. And that's a real issue because they're constantly wanting to touch and they fall down, they get dirty, and hygiene is what we're doing this, what this is all about in the first place. So it has to be something that you really feel like it's a natural extension of what you are, like a nice pair of jeans or a comfortable pair of pajamas, you know.
Yeah, to
Look
be comfortable all
look good,
day.
do good.
So, speaking of doing good, you also created a fundraising program as part of MyShield Masks. And this program helps other small businesses and organizations raise money while they're purchasing your product. I haven't seen any other face mask companies doing this, and I think it's a great idea. How does it work, and why was this important to you?
Well, first I'll start with the why was it important to me. So my customer base is show choirs. They can only survive with fundraising, and most of their fundraising was slashed because they weren't able to do any competitions in the January, February, March, April months of 2020, which is generally when they hold competitive events where they get most of their income so that they can pay for their music editing, their arrangements, the choreographers, and all the other things like costuming and all those other adventures that are so critical to these kids' development. When I started making these, we were really overwhelmed with the great success, and we were growing and growing. And I said, what about my customer base? Oh my gosh, they couldn't make any money this year at all. There's got to be a way that we can help them with these masks. And there were some problems with that because there was such a, an attitude of like, oh, yay, let's have masks. We can use these as fundraisers. It seemed like a logical thing to do. And some people caught the vision of it, and others felt like that they were making money off of a pandemic and they didn't like the idea. So not everybody got on board. But those that did see the vision of it, because if you were going to have to wear a mask anyway, why not wear something that supports the children that are missing out on these opportunities and help to fund these parents that have lost a lot of work, that lost their jobs, so they could spend their fundraising dollars anywhere that in any way that they chose. But the whole program was that we were able to create the fundraising opportunity. They didn't have to do anything except promote, and we ran all of the product through our website. So they promoted, and we gave them a special link that drove them straight to the website, and they would buy something from the fundraiser and pick up another mask or two that they liked that wasn't part of their fundraiser as well. It worked out great for everyone. Some of the groups made a lot of money, and that money in turn helped kids that were disadvantaged by the pandemic and the job losses and the closures and all of the other
Yeah.
things that we've been going through.
Help
It
them
was
get back
fantastic.
to normal life in the future. Yeah,
Right.
that's great.
We were also able to give masks to organizations with shelters where they couldn't have any way to get masks. They relied exclusively on donations. So we've been giving away thousands and thousands of masks.
That's incredible. Yeah, that's great. So, in addition to everything that you have going on, all of your other businesses you've mentioned, the fundraising program, the partnerships with larger companies, you are also a mom, and not just one, but 9 kids. And
Yep.
during this past year, COVID has really strained everybody's work and home responsibilities. I know all of our podcast listeners can relate, but particularly women have been burdened with this struggle of managing childcare and their career. And it's not really going away as everything continues. So, do you have any tips for the other working moms listening to try to stay sane and balanced right now?
That is a really hard question because I don't know how I made it. I don't know how I got through that. Now, my youngest is now 18 years old. So my oldest is just turned 34. So all of that small time where they're little children in their critical years of growth has now passed. And so all I remember is I spent a lot of time with my children back when I was forming my businesses. And, you just can never give up. You have to give time to your children at the same moment that they're the critical the critical development of what they're doing is important. You still have to keep that dream alive. And how do you do that? The only tip that I could possibly give anyone out there is don't be impatient. Your kids will grow up, and they're really important. They need you more than anything else. You can provide things to the rest of the world, but you'll never get your motherhood back. You get one time. And by the way, don't hope for grandkids, because I only have one and I have all these children. And I have one grandchild. So yeah, the grandmothering thing, I lost hope on that. But I'm just saying that your kids have one chance with you now in the formative years. And that's really a focal point. Work on learning as much as you can and start real small. Get real good at small things and be really efficient. One thing that I found with people that I've employed, my favorite workers are successful mothers. And most of the time that they've been the best, and I've worked with many that have already gone on and done their own things, is after their children grow up and they get to a point where they're independent and they're doing more things that frees them up. But those beginning years, if you're a young mother and you've got small children, don't be too distracted. Spend time with them. This thing about children being schooled at home right now, I wouldn't lay a lot of responsibility on the public education. Now's your opportunity to be creative with the children that you have. I homeschool all my children. And
Oh, wow.
the first 5 children were homeschooled until 9th grade. And the rest of them either went to a Montessori school or some kind of a elementary school. But basically, my first 5 children were exclusively homeschooled. And so, and they've moved on and they're brilliant. They're business owners. They're exceeding, they're excelling, and they're contributing to the world. But none of that could happen if I had given that up for a business. I would only have my business and I wouldn't have my children. So I guess in a long roundabout way, I'm saying it's important to be a mother, and all of those skills that you put into motherhood and housekeeping and things like that actually train you to be a great business person. Don't think that you're giving it up, and be patient.
Yes, we love to hear that.
Great things will happen.
Definitely. It makes so much sense too. You have all of this, it's time management.
And people management,
responsibility.
Always at people management.
Yeah, and bring that right into your career.
And I had a lot of different personalities. None of them are the same. So, you're working with different issues constantly, and it really teaches you how to deal with eventual employees. Because granted, I mean, we are all people, and many of us act like children when we're, in situations. And I learned a lot of business skills by being a mother. And I never wanted to be a mother. It was not a desire in my heart, and it came. And then they just kept coming. And then I didn't stop them from coming. And it was just, it was very interesting. I guess I'm a little bit of an overachiever, I suppose.
So for my last question, I'm wondering what your personal goals are for 2021, as well as for the business MyShield Masks.
I don't know. I'm going to have to play MyShield Masks as we'll see what happens. The whole entire business model for MyShield Masks has been throw all the balls in the air and see which ones stick on the ceiling. Because, who knows what's going to happen. Every time you turn around, it's coming up, it's going down. It's coming up, it's going down. I just stick to always doing quality products, and I'm being careful not to lurch too far ahead. And we do stock retail products ready to ship, but we are actually looking right now and broadening our horizons in certifying this business as a woman-owned business, or starting that actually today, and getting certified so that we can be available for larger opportunities. So the money that we were able to profit from in MyShield masks, because it was such a great success, is we could turn around and buy automated cutting equipment. We're buying a cutting machine system with a pattern software program so that we can increase our volume, and we were able to triple our employees, staff, through MyShield masks. We went from 13 to 41, so close to triple, right? And that gives us a work base. We were able to buy 14 different types of machines to improve our productivity and move to a new location. And also buy this special cutting equipment that's coming. It'll be here in March. So that opens up all kinds of doors of opportunities for growth. So we're letting the universe tell us what we want to do. We know that we've got a great secure customer base in the showwear industry, and all the other avenues of products that we have created are raring and ready to go. As soon as the doors start opening for materials and supplies to be coming from overseas. Unfortunately, America doesn't make any fabric anymore. Textile industry, it doesn't even exist here. And so we're at the mercy of the overseas vendors to provide us, not vendors, manufacturers and textiles opportunities are from overseas. So once that's opened up fully again, the sky's the limit. There's all kinds of opportunities. Who knows what's going to happen? I guess my goal is to just get certified for now and search out whatever opportunities. I'm a problem solver. I'm here ready for anybody to bring me something that they say, you know what? Wouldn't it be nice if you could make blank?
And go for it.
And that's what I'm here for.
Love that. So 2021, looking for more opportunities, more growth, more expansion. Perfect.
Yes. Big time.
Well, Diana, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Women in Retail Talks. I really had a good time talking to you today.
Thank you so much, Christina. It was excellent.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at womeninretail.com/podcast for show notes. Women in Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Women in Retail Talks.